Lots of stuff going on in the world of wrestling. I'm not sure what's going on, but Matt Burns is in the know, and he's about to take us through a full 30 minutes of the news, only here on The Burning Truth. Hey, it's Scott Barrett, and welcome back to another episode of The Burning Truth. A special news edition, Matt Burns, with lots and lots to talk about.
That it is, because we've got some articles to cover and everything. But before we get to there, I've got to ask two questions.
Oh, two questions.
Two questions. One is, Scott, how are you?
I'm very well, mate. Thank you. How are you?
I'm not too bad. I'm quite dapper, quite happy and smiling, as you can probably tell. Are you ready for your second question?
Fresh haircut, ears lowered, yeah?
Oh, definitely. I had to, because I will say the beard was getting a little bit, it was stealing my food.
Grizzly.
It was stealing my food.
Yeah, well, I've had to shave mine completely, and I'm not a big beard guy anyway, but I've had to shave what I did have, because the summer's here, and so is the hay fever. And you know as well as I do that it all just sort of creeps in and sits in.
It does creep in. It does. And that's where I think the trim comes into play for me.
Yeah.
Well, but for the second question, how has today been for you? Because today, if I'm not mistaken, is your birthday.
It's my birthday. My birthday. Yeah, it's funny. I was watching Thor Ragnarok the other day and watched that whole bit. It's my birthday.
Why did
it's been okay, it's been good. You know, as you get older, these things you do less and less with them, don't you? So
I don't know about even though I'm older than you.
Decent. I've been at work most of the day, tell the truth. So it hasn't made a massive difference to whatever normally is going on. But yeah, thanks for asking, mate. Yeah, lovely.
No, it's all right. What I was expecting is a song suddenly bust in going, it's my birthday.
Not quite today, mate, no.
No, but anyway, it's now time to get down to the news. Benny.
I was sharp then. Once I see I got that in then.
Oh yeah, you were slick. But anyway, let's start off with the news of someone who we gave a TBT award to.
Oh, okay. Love the TBT awards. Can't wait for them again this year.
Can't wait. But he was most consistent player.
Big Drew.
Consistent, as in he's a dab hand whenever he's around.
Oh, go on. Who did we give that to?
Sheamus.
Oh, Sheamus. Yeah, of course it was. There was discussion of Drew. I remember, but we landed on Sheamus. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
we ended up giving it to Sheamus because it felt like Drew was having a bit too many titles.
He was getting a lot of awards, wasn't he? Yeah, we were trying to even it out somewhat.
But Sheamus has always been a good hard hitter, a good factor, and it's sort of the discussion is more of Sheamus's reflection on recent events, especially with him being forced to miss WWE WrestleMania 41. Now, what I find so weird is he returned to Raw since the Royal Rumble, but he ended up missing WrestleMania. Now, what was interesting is we got Sheamus sitting down with Alex McCarthy of Daily Mail when asked about missing out on competing at WrestleMania 41 this year. Sheamus admitted he was gutted that it didn't happen. I was gutted I wasn't at Mania. The last appearance that I had was at the Rumble, and he wanted to be in the mix and wanted to be there. You know, he's very passionate about being a wrestler, about his job, and there's so many, basically, you've been to so many Mania, so it's okay, but it's not okay. He loves what he does. Basically, what he's saying is he might have been to many WrestleManias, but in that, okay, fair enough. Some people can sit there and say it's okay, but in his mind, he wants to be there because WrestleMania is the showcase of the Immortals and where you can have a WrestleMania moment. And the interesting thing about it is, and this is my own personal view here, do you know exactly where I would have fitted Sheamus in?
Go on.
Mid-card title.
Oh, I don't want to talk about this Sheamus Intercontinental title thing again. I'm so bored of that, Genuinely, that's the most boring thing in professional wrestling.
No. I'm not saying win it. Just compete.
The whole thing is just like, it's proper snooze fest for me, that is. And I'm probably on my own, but genuinely, Matt, like every time somebody says, Sheamus, he only needs the Intercontinental to finish his Grand Slam. And I think,
well, this might shock you.
What?
This might shock you. Somebody agrees with you.
Who?
WWE.
Oh. Yeah. Who agrees with me? Paul Levesque.
Yeah, WWE is, and Sheamus openly states that WWE's probably sick of it, hearing him bitch for the RT title.
I'm bored of it, so they must be.
But that's the one he's got to left to be the first ever ultimate Grand Slam champion, the Holy Grail.
Such a snooze.
Which, fair enough. I get it. I get the idea and everything, but he's got enough accolades, and the fact is, for me, that the one accolade that pops out to me for Sheamus is how quick did he win that main event championship?
Yeah, it was like 180 days or something, wasn't it? It was very quick after debut that he did it.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
it was very quick, but equally, you want somebody to be seen as a top guy, you bring them in on top. They don't have to sit around the mid card, the lower mid card for years on end before they get a break. They don't have to be a tag team wrestler first. I mean, that does happen in places, but if you want to bring a guy in on top and feature him straight away, that is something that can happen.
Yeah.
AJ Styles is a pretty good example of that.
Oh, good
when
shout
they brought him in WWE. I knew it wasn't necessarily a new face, but they certainly brought him in on top. Mankind brought him in on top. Kane brought him in on top. Undertaker, you could probably say as well. These are all characters that we brought in and were top guys.
And yet,
straight away, big show.
But the thing is this is where I'm going to agree with your arguments. Is as much as winning a title is, synonymous and everything, you can still be iconic and not win the big championship.
Yeah,
because we can name some names. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but I can also. Do you know what? I'm going to use another one now. Another couple of examples similar to before. Finn Balor. Now, I know it didn't go his way because of injury, but they brought him in. First night first 2 weeks wins a triple threat and beats Roman Reigns. First pay-per-view wins Universal title.
Injured during the match.
The other one, Shinsuke, they brought him up, and that next year he won the Rumble. He didn't win the title, but he did win the Rumble. So these things do happen, don't they?
Yeah.
Fast rises to gold.
Yeah, the thing is, I think in some cases you can have some of them rise too quickly, and some of them might need to go down a little bit and then go back up again.
Agreed. Yeah, and we did that with the Big Show in '99.
Yes,
40 men on top, won a world title within 12 months. Won a few world titles actually, but we did then start to drop him down, bring him back up, drop him down. He was hardcore champion for a while. I think he won the US title at some point.
And then he became a big threat for Brock.
Yeah, exactly. And then after he beat Brock, he was back down for the US title for a bit, and tagging with A-Train, and
And ironically, a name that we've already mentioned can definitely be on the list because He ended up being technically let go from the company, and then becoming a main champion. Drew.
Yeah, Drew's a good shout. Yeah.
Drew was somebody who sort of went from WWE, made a name for himself on the independents, and come back bigger, badder, stronger.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. What's the next piece of news then? Matt Burns I think we took Sheamus to death, haven't we?
Yeah, we pretty much have. We're going to jump across over to AEW, which is...
We have to.
Yes, we do. Because, well, the next two pieces... Well, there's three pieces of AEW we're going to cover. One of them is going to be quick. One of them is going to involve WWE and AEW. And this one's just Nigel McGuinness.
Okay.
This one is because Nigel McGuinness has confirmed his in-ring return.
Why?
It was sort because he's teaming up with Daniel Garcia to take on FTR at Double or Nothing. It's sort of they're looking to extract some revenge on FTR, who seem to have turned on the fans, turned against the world, and everything, and are running roughshod again.
Okay, I get it. There's enough wrestlers on the roster there. We don't have to keep digging into commentators, do we?
Wait for it. They then bullied Tony Schiavone multiple times.
This sounds a lot like.
Yeah. It is, isn't it? The question is what I find even more shocking is the fact that this was the one that started it first. This one started first.
Oh, so we've copied a bit then, have we? Or we're copying now.
It's weird because they started the storyline first. It's taken them that long to get through it.
And that's
McAfee got through his storyline before they've even got halfway through.
Got taken out, returned, and had his match. In fact, there was a suspension involved as well. All in the time. Yeah.
So, even though McGuinness did step up, might have been a little bit late.
Fair.
But I always enjoy seeing Nigel McGuinness. I love his work. Phenomenal wrestler. Knows his stuff.
He was. I really enjoyed him as Desmond Wolfe in TNA for the run he had there. Obviously did great work in Ring of Honor. British wrestler, so we've got some bias. But yeah, I like the guy. I just don't know in 2025 whether featuring him in a story is the right thing or whether should we be looking at some of the talent that's already on the roster. I'm sure if I said, Matt Burns, name me 5 underused wrestlers in AEW, it wouldn't take you long to think of them.
Half the roster?
Well, the list is limitless. What's next?
Oh! Even just by saying that alone. Keith Lee.
The list is limitless.
Ooh.
Come on, what's next?
Next, for anybody who was watching live AEW Collision in America, in certain areas of the country, basically they were watching it, getting into the action, about possibly leading up to the main event, and the screen cuts to black.
To black?
To black. And basically it went off. It normally runs for about 2 hours, but unfortunately, it ran for after 90 minutes, what began all of a sudden out of the blue. We then ended up having Dwayne The Rock Johnson on.
So we replaced Dynamite with The Rock.
Yeah, Black Adam.
AEW, man. Just can't catch a break.
Can't catch a break on their own network.
That's really funny. I actually love that.
And Tony Khan's had to sort of respond quickly to take social media to expand the actual reason, while no official reason for the issue was given. Khan explained that what would happen with the show moving forward tonight. In a post shortly after Collision went dark, Khan said that the company was having technical problems with the show. Khan went on to say that the show in its entirety will be put onto HBO Max shortly, as well as running normally on TNT West beginning at 11 p.m. EST.
Oh, for the yeah.
So as you can see, So basically, yeah, if you're live, sorry, pal.
Holy moly. Just can't catch a break, can they, those guys?
No, they can't. They really, really can't. And it's really, really funny that we say that, because as much as fair play to them for trying something different.
Yeah.
But wow. Ouch. And what makes it even worse is, if I'm not mistaken, that was a movie that didn't do well at the box office, if I'm not mistaken either.
No, I don't think it did. I think they put a lot behind it, and it was sort of the final nail in the coffin for the DCU at the time.
Well, to a degree, yeah.
And now we're in with the DCEU.
Yeah, so if you think about
the DCEU, and now we're in the DCU, whichever way that works. Either way, have you seen the trailer? Let's just stop a minute and all talk about the trailer for Superman. Have you seen the trailer for Superman?
Yes.
How good does Superman look? Genuinely, I'm really excited about it. I think it looks brilliant. I think they've saved Superman.
Yes and no.
Okay, show your work. So I'm a big fan of the Christopher Reeve Superman films.
Oh, yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Same here. Very much so. I feel as though I thought the previous Superman was fine.
The what, sorry?
Henry Cavill was fine.
Yeah, you liked Henry Cavill?
Yeah, very much so.
Okay.
Good actor. I've been a fan of his work. Definitely. I feel as though they weakened Superman a little bit through certain explosions, where Superman never really would flinch to them. But the one thing I think they've done better this time.
Yeah.
So here's the that was the minor negative, but here's the major positive. As much as they show that there can be hate towards, the boy wonder, Superman and everything, they also show a bit of his human side, even though he's not human.
Yeah. I think what they've done, what the trailer looks like, the film's done really well already, and I haven't seen it yet, is I feel like the film, let's put it into wrestling terms, because this is a wrestling podcast, right? Superman is a terrible, terrible babyface, because you can't get heat on him. Yeah, he's got no weakness. So what we see in the trailer is loads of ways that Superman is under pressure, under the pump, whether it be he's having his what do they call it? His what's the solitude destroyed.
Oh, his fortress of solitude.
He's taking some damage. He's hitting so he gets slammed at some point from the top of a building down it through like 8 layers of concrete, doesn't he? Plus, he's got in the trailer it shows that people hate him and they're throwing cans and stuff at him. Plus, there's the cosplay Black Noir taking him into custody. Potentially clone Superman. You see why I said Black Noir though, didn't you? Cosplay Black Noir.
Makes it even worse. I know which character that is.
Yeah, of course you do. Everybody's seen The Boys, mate. If you haven't seen The Boys, you need to get yourself on Prime.
No. I mean, who the Noir wannabe is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, my theory is that it's going to be like a clone of Superman, but that's not the point. The point is, they're getting heat on him in the trailer, which means it's going to be a redemption story of some sort, which means we're going to be able to see Superman as the underdog babyface, which we never get, right? Who's the best? Right, Matt Baines, who's the best superhero?
Batman.
Okay. Arguably, though, you would say Spider-Man, right?
Oh, yeah. People person.
Yeah. If I asked 100 people who the best superhero is, a lot are going to say Spider-Man, right? And the reason is, the majority probably would say Spider-Man. And the reason is, right, he's always the underdog. He is the forever babyface. He's the Rey Mysterio of superheroes, right?
I agree with you 100%. And I've even got some extra evidence for you to back you up as well.
Yeah. What I'm saying is we pinch a bit of that for Superman here, and we make him the babyface, we make him the underdog. And I think from there, then you can probably, if in the next film he is like just super and he's full on Superman, that's great. But if we don't set it up in the first film with him being the underdog, and so we can get some likability behind him, because it is a new actor, a new cast, and let's be fair, it's set up to succeed, right? We've got Nathan Fillion, Bradley Cooper, Frank Grillo, we got Nicholas Hoult playing Lex Luthor. It's stacked, man.
Definitely. And I like how you mentioned Nathan Fillion because of which character he's playing.
Oh, love Nathan Fillion. Absolutely. Is he playing Guy Gardner? Yeah, epic. Absolutely brilliant.
And what makes it more funny is when I see him in the trailer, he pulls the perfect Guy Gardner face. Literally, it's
what's even better than any of this, right, is that William Reeve, Christopher Reeve's son, is in the film as a TV reporter. And that's a really nice touch, I thought.
Yeah, spot on. Yeah. And to summarize and back up what you just said about Spider-Man, a lot of people don't realize, because the way Spider-Man carries himself, he's actually way stronger.
Oh, yeah.
Than
people listen,
actually realize.
Yeah, but he's still the underdog babyface.
He's always the underdog because he's.
I just want to point out, before we go to the next news item, that Jimmy Olsen's going to be played by a guy named Skylar Gisondo, and I don't know how he thinks his career is going to go with a name like Skylar. I can't see much for him. But let's go over to the next. Let's go to the next news.
You never know. He could be. He could bring a star quality.
Next news
star quality. Well, anyway, we go from one Superman to the WWE Superman, or should we say, former Superman. Of course, that would be none other than John Cena, revealing the most stupid decision he made in his life.
Wow.
And from what I've gathered...
Wow, what an article. Where have you found this one? Oh, you're getting all these on WrestleZone today. Right, let's give them the link so people listening or watching can find this news themselves.
I was going to throw it in at the end.
Oh, okay, sorry. I'll shut up.
You spoiled the fun. Anyway, all the articles so far have been that I've found are from WrestleZone, which I will say so far have been quality from my standing whenever it's come to it for breaking news. But we have a story of John Cena revealing an untold story about his infamous 2006 match against Rob Van Dam at ECW One Night Stand, which was at the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City. Yeah. It featured a very pro ECW anti-Cena crowd.
Oh, definitely.
I think that's the one crowd that will probably boo him more than the current crowd. Would you say?
Yeah, 1,000%. The crowd today are happy to see him.
Yeah, they're at least happy to see him. And if he throws his shirt somewhere, someone catches him and he's like, he's going to sell off on eBay. Whereas ECW will just go, nope, and just throw it back. He'll just go reflecting on the match. John Cena, who appeared at Philadelphia Fan Expo, said, "Man, it was awesome. There was a sign which actually was brought to this conversation today that says, if Cena wins, we riot." And it's a very famous sign that has been memed and knocked off. Also, the audience...
And we've seen it loads recently as well, right? So what was the sign at... was it at WrestleMania, or might have been at Elimination Chamber, actually? I can't remember what it was. It wasn't if Punk wins, we riot. It was it was something else.
If Punk loses.
No, that was Money in the Bank 2012. There was one recently, and it stuck with me. It might have been about Charlotte and Tiffy.
Oh no, it was Charlotte. I know which one you're on about. If Charlotte wins, we riot. Yeah, it was Charlotte because they were sick and tired of it. Also, the audience was bad. The event started at 7, and we went on to last. And at 7, they were so audibly chanting certain words to Cena. So you knew by the time they went out at 10, it was going to be pretty much vicious. So they get out there. He's having his wrestling match with his T-shirt. He looks at the sign. Here's the crowd. I don't know if I'll do this again. Was this the most stupid thing to do? To go out to an audience that absolutely wants to murder you.
Yeah. Madness there.
Right. But he told Rob, hey, let's go out there. Let's go out into the audience. And I just want to see what happens. He thanked everybody everyone there for being professional, great fans. And even though technically, it was one of his worst nights, but what he appreciated was the fact that they told him exactly what they thought of him.
Oh,
they didn't hold back, but at the same time, they were still nice enough not to jump the barricade and murderize him.
My favorite moment was when he threw his shirt out to him and they threw it back at him. That was brilliant.
Oh, yeah. And you've got pure hatred when you get Edge interrupting the match. Spears seeing it, and you can hear off the crowd as "Thank you, Edge." When only a few minutes ago they were hating on Edge for his match. That's when you know you're onto something there.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Short and sweet that one, Matt Burns. Have we got anything else?
Yeah, pretty much. Moving back to Darby Allin.
Darby.
Yeah. He can now sit there and instead of going, Harry, like off Home Alone, he can listen go, AEW, I've reached the top.
Ah, okay, got you.
He's
reached where you were going with that then. I really did wonder where you were going then.
If you know Home Alone 2, you'll know the quote.
Yeah, I was going to say you got to touch the Miley Cyrus.
No.
Because he'd taken the climb.
I thought you were going to sit. I thought you were going to sit down and say he comes in. I thought you were more or less of the fact that he always comes in like a wrecking ball.
No, I was talking about the climb. But you carry on, mate.
But anyway, he's finally reached the summit of Mount Everest, and he has stuck that AEW flag on top of the world.
That's crazy.
I wonder if he had the Imagination Dragons in his hair. I'm on top of the world. Hey.
Yeah.
that's a moment in its own right. But really, an AEW flag.
Really, really, really cool thing to have done. Well done, Darby, for making that climb. Yeah, brilliant. First wrestler to do so, apparently.
Yeah. And this time he didn't get hit by a motor vehicle or a bus. Yeah,
which is really good.
Bonus.
Bonus for Darby. Yeah.
Bonus. The weird thing about it is his second attempt, as he was planning, from what I can see, it's taken him months to do it. He began his climb on April 8th, 2025.
Wow.
And he has trained. Basically, it was his second attempt. His first was put on hold in 2024 when he decided to get a broken foot from going against Jay White.
Yeah, he wasn't climbing it then.
No, then he got bashed by a buzz. Which did you ever see that moment? Did you ever see it?
No.
All I'll say to you is, for any people who are fans of Grey Anatomy, I was hoping, I was sitting there when I heard about it, I was sitting there thinking, please don't be 007.
Fair.
But I will say, the Grey Anatomy fans are probably crying now. I apologize.
I don't know if that's a demographic crossover that we'll have Matt Burns wrestling fans listening to us and Grey's Anatomy fans.
Still, if people, still, if people do watch it,
you're welcome.
You're welcome, and I'm sorry for the tears.
Right, what's next, mate?
But anyway, last but not least, we're going to get to the man in charge of NXT.
Ava.
Ava's boss. He is none other than the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
Oh, nice. And what's HBK got going on?
Did you know he almost had a drastically different theme song?
I didn't know this, no.
Instead of Sexy Boy.
I didn't know this, and I have got it queued up because we did talk about this earlier on.
Right.
I think that's really interesting that he was... I mean, they obviously made the right decision, right?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. The fact that when you've got a venue in the audience overpowering the entrance song, it makes you sit down and wonder, is that really an entrance or is that just theatric music?
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be supposedly his original theme, which was called Rhapsody in Blue.
Would you like me to give it a play?
Give it a try. Let's see if you can hear it.
Coconut trees, huh? You bet. And his opponent, please. From San Antonio, Texas, weighing 240 pounds, Shawn Michaels. The trainer, Shawn Michaels.
I don't get it.
Where's Spike? Where's Gizmo?
Does sound a bit Gremlinsy.
It does. It sounds like it's off Gremlins too. It really does. It sounds like it belongs there. But the point being is, it's one of them. It's just wow. Now, think about that. That could have been his theme song. Would he have been the Heartbreak Kid that he is today? I doubt it.
I think the music and Sherry was all part of the presentation to begin with, and I can't see it happening without all that going on.
100%. I think the fact that he was involved with Sherry and they actually ended up doing a Sexy Boy, perfect song, perfect moment. Enough said, wrote itself. And destiny forever be told. Who knows? That could be a strong what if there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Would change the entire foundation of WWE, I imagine.
Pretty much.
Because DX, Click, all the effects it would have had. Diesel potentially doesn't get the same push as he gets.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting time in wrestling to have gone differently. That could have then had a knock-on effect on the NWO. The whole thing changes.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Now, the interesting thing is there's a light bit of extra news on Shawn Michaels.
Okay. Right.
Because he reveals his most underrated WrestleMania moment.
Oh, okay.
Which is...
he always talks really fondly about the match with... Sorry, I haven't read this news, but I'm just going to interrupt here because he always talks really fondly about the match with Kurt Angle. I don't know if that's what he's talking about here.
No, oddly enough. Even though that is...
It might be Kurt Angle who always talks about the match with Shawn Michaels.
No, they both do. They both do. I know Kurt's definitely still talking about it right now. Even right now, even to this very day, he literally says...
Right this second, somewhere he's talking about that match.
He's literally talking about it. It's like, Shawn Michaels had to literally walk up to him saying, I'm not going to back down from you. It's like... What? But it was nice and Kurt even said he appreciated the fact that he was like, he's trying to stand tall, but he was like, I'm not here to take anything from you. I'm here to work.
Yeah.
And from it, they end up having some absolute stellar moments. But then again, I could even talk about a certain Eddie Guerrero moment with Kurt Angle, but we'll save that for another time. But anyway, back to Shawn Michaels. In an interview with Justin, is it Barrasso? The Undisputed?
Okay, yeah.
I apologize if I butchered the name. It was Shawn Michaels said WrestleMania 8 was very important to him.
Was that the match with Tito?
Yes. He was still trying to find out who he was. That was really a key moment for him. That, that's a moment that doesn't get focused that it deserves, but it's very important to me. Having the incredibly great fortune to wrestle a guy like Tito was fantastic. He knew who he was, knew exactly what he was doing, and he kept me from going out of my mind wrestling in that spot in front of that many people. It was my first WrestleMania singles match. And he says he was very fortunate to be there with a guy who understood what it meant to be a big-time player. Michael even explains again, I was very fortunate to wrestle a guy like Tito that helped me shine and make the most of my moments.
That's cool. Very cool.
Michael's also said that his character wouldn't have been the same without Sensational Sherry.
Oh, that's what we've just said.
Yeah. Don't underestimate how important Sherry was to all of this. There was this whole new idea about who the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels going to be, and it doesn't work without Sherry.
Oh, bro.
That's a nice little touch there. And brilliant. I think that's a nice wrap-up time for this, because I believe we did originally say half an hour, did we not?
We did. I think, if I was going to summarize this up, I think Sheamus snubbed, Darby defies death, Nigel returns, and the Rock Crashes AEW. That's pretty much where we are.
And Shawn Michaels is a great, awesome guy who could have had a wrong turn if he didn't have any involvement with Sherry, Sensational Sherry.
Absolutely.
And he to Tito and Sherry for helping him make him become who he is.
Yeah.
So humble. Humble Shawn. And we're not talking about humble as in Logan Paul.
Absolutely not. Why would we talk about that?
No, of course not. But anyway, we digress. We need to move on.
I think that pretty much brings us to a close for this week. I don't know about how you're feeling about it.
I was just about to. You just hit the nail on the head. I was just about to get to where seeing as we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Nice. Why don't you give us that little bash of the button on the subscribe button and pretty much give us a big helping hand to get us there? Of course, liking our stuff and commenting always helps with the algorithm, and we're always thankful for it. You can find us across the board of social media, definitely for sure, because all you need to do is type in The Burning Truth and look for one thing. And do you know what that one thing is?
What is that one thing, Matt Baines?
The Burning Truth bag, which is right behind me or above our heads.
Right up there. Yeah, absolutely. You can also check out the website. That is theburningtruthuk.com, where you can find blogs, merchandise, all sorts of cool stuff, including the It's Stiffy Time Tiffany Stratton t-shirt, the DFTBA Don't Forget to Be Awful Matt Burns t-shirts, and the two thumbs pointed at me Excelsior t-shirt. You can get all those on www.theburningtruthuk.com.
Well, I'm gonna have to correct you there, especially with my t-shirts. Awful? No. If we're gonna do it right, we're gonna do it right. And what better way to do it at the end of the show? As I always remind people, stay fired, but more importantly, DFTBA, which of course really stands for Don't Forget to Be Excelsior.